With moments like these, it's no wonder these films are huge box office successes. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for another top 10 moments from the Fast and the Furious franchise. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at all the movies in the franchise up to The Fate of the Furious, and are choosing moments that are emotional, action-packed, full of drama, or jammed with comedy. Oh, and if a particular moment you're thinking of isn't here, be sure to check out our original video of the top 10 moments from the Fast and the Furious franchise. Spoilers to follow. Number 10. Letty vs. Cara, Furious 7.
Would you believe I knocked him out with my charm?
It's one thing to have to fight Gina Carano, but fighting Ronda Rousey as well? That's just asking to get your ass kicked. Fortunately, Letty is one character that can hold her ground. While we're not used to seeing Letty in a dress, our minds are put at ease when she reminds us she's still the same badass. The room also serves as a unique backdrop for the carnage that unfolds. Watching the fight is a bit exhausting, as the two capable fighters give it everything they've got. So we all share Roman's expression when the two come crashing down into the main party floor.
Letty, talk to me. Are you okay?
Number 9. The Tunnel Chase, Fast and Furious.
This might hurt.
If we've learned anything from watching these movies, it's that the characters definitely know how to drive. Their abilities are put to the ultimate test when they have to drive through an extremely tight and claustrophobic tunnel at immensely high speeds, leaving very little room for error.
Game over.
There are a lot of close calls, as Brian narrowly avoids collisions while also trying to deal with his frustrating passenger. If driving were the only thing they had to worry about, viewers probably wouldn't sweat it. But unfortunately, as usual, people are also trying to kill them, so it's doubly intense. Number 8. Car meets boat. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Hold on, Ron. Hold on.
Despite what people say about this particular entry in the franchise, Too Fast, Too Furious undoubtedly has some of the most iconic moments. One of them being Brian driving a car off a ramp and into a freaking yacht. When you have a yacht that's already in the water, there are not a lot of options for how to stop it. And seeing Roman realize what Brian's got planned is like looking in a mirror, because his thought process reflects our own. Always buckle your seatbelts, kids.
I think I broke my arm.
Number 7. Final Battle, Furious 7. There's no time to breathe when you're watching the final act of Furious 7. It's just non-stop action sequence after action sequence. But hey, we are not complaining. To cap things off, there's basically a duel. Like something out of Star Wars, except instead of lightsabers, Dom and Deckard use tools. Oh, and Hobbs fires a minigun at a helicopter after driving an ambulance off a bridge and into a drone. If we hadn't done so already, this was the point in the series when we let go of trying to make sense of all the carnage and just enjoyed the ride.
Did you bring the cavalry?
Woman, I am the cavalry.
Number 6. Zombie Cars, The Fate of the Furious.
I'd buckle up if I were you.
You probably don't want to watch this scene if you're planning on buying a Tesla. We know not everyone has Cypher's hacking abilities, but still, the idea of someone controlling your car from an undisclosed location makes us shudder.
And here they come.
Plus, with the modern electronic cars we have now, the vehicles don't even need autopilot to be hacked. But we gotta say, watching hundreds of cars swerve around corners, fall out of buildings, and cause massive pileups is exhilarating, and creates a sense of terror unfelt in other Fast and Furious movies.
Ouch.
Number 5. I Owe You a 10-Second Car, The Fast and the Furious.
I owe you a 10-second car.
We go back to where it all began, when the chase between Brian and Dom concludes with a quarter-mile drag race across a railway crossing. It's a long 10 seconds, and a lot of emotional weight is carried in this scene, especially considering Brian has already revealed he's an LAPD officer.
Yeah, this is Officer Brian O'Connor.
And we've witnessed how he's transformed and become attached to Dom and his family. So as Toretto crashes his father's Charger, our hearts stop. While it is a spectacle, the stakes are too high to enjoy it completely, but thankfully he makes it out okay. And Brian gives him the keys to his car so he can escape.
I owe you a 10-second car.
Number 4, Skyscraper Jump, Furious 7.
Done, cars don't fly!
Okay, jumping from one building to another is definitely an insane thought to entertain. But unless they want to be shot to pieces by a persistent Deckard Shaw, Brian and Dom are out of options. A profile shot of the car soaring to the next building with the glaring sun in the background is a stunning sight that allows viewers to get a breath in before it crashes into the next building. The bad news is that the brakes are gone. The good news? Another building is there to catch them. Number 3, Runway, Fast and Furious 6.
Ride or die.
We'll get it out of the way up front. Yes, it's a freakishly long landing strip, but it does allow for this amazing action sequence. At this point, we've come to realize that cars aren't our main character's only specialty, as the crew brings down a plane just before it takes off. Before that, though, an intense fist and gunfight ensues inside the aircraft. The stakes are high as Mia is held captive and Owen is about to make his escape. We see the furious part kick in when Brian, Dom, and Letty attempt their rescue. This sequence is not only exciting, but also heartbreaking as well, as Giselle sacrifices herself to save Han. Number 2, the C-130 drop, Furious 7.
Look, I can't do it, okay? Listen to what I'm saying.
As the movies progress, the stunts get more and more wildly outlandish, constantly trying to one-up the one that came before it. But as is the case with any great sequence, the suspense and setup are as important as the payoff.
Roman, you need some fresh air? Because you about to get a whole lot of it.
Roman's apprehension about driving out of an airborne plane mimics the jitters viewers get while watching, and adds to the anticipation. But cars free-falling from an immense height and parachuting to the ground is all in a day's work for this family. Oh, and Roman, we don't think hitting the brake pedal is gonna stop your descent. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
See if this works.
Number 1, See You Again, Furious 7.
You aren't going to say goodbye?
Kudos to James Wan and the studio for changing the ending of this film to pay tribute to Paul Walker.
It's never goodbye.
His death shook fans worldwide, and the ending to the 7th movie sent his character off in a sad but heartwarming way, celebrating his life and what he contributed to the films.
Thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
The scene where Brian and Dom part ways is accompanied by the beautiful original song See You Again, which tugs at our heartstrings.
Come a long way, from where we began. You know, we started. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
While the franchise continues to power on with adrenaline-fueled stunts and action sequences, it certainly won't be the same without Paul Walker.
Yeah, we came a long way. I'll see you again.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.